Bullying continues to be a problem in adolescents, and with easy access to the web, cyberbullying has become a trend as well.
Today we have a special guest in our relationship reboot. Our relationship guru, Dr. Kirsten Lind Seal, is joined by Dr. Doty to share with us her latest research into the prevention of bullying. Thank you both for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Dr. Doty, I know you used the Minnesota Student Survey in your research, which just has a wealth of information from young people, right?
Yeah, and so what we looked at specifically was bullying, and we know bullying is really prevalent in middle school, that it peaks in middle school, and we've also been looking at trends in bullying and sexual harassment. For some kids, bullying might tone down in high school but turn into sexual harassment.
Interesting. That same kind of mental thing driving bullying behavior could drive sexual harassment
Turn into
behavior.
that. When we talk about bullying, we talk mostly about kind of that peer-to-peer interaction, about kids and what problems they're having there. But Kirsten, there's some research between adults and children in the relationship and how that could relate to bullying.
Right, exactly. So one of the things that's really interesting, the findings from Dr. Doty's study, is that there is there's a connection between how strong the adult relationships with children are and how that actually leads to preventing bullying. Right? Yeah. So that adults actually have a lot more power in the relationship in a way than they might think.
Is it on the bullying side or on the side of the person being bullied?
So really what's interesting about these connections with adults is that whatever is going on, whether it's cyberbullying or relational bullying or whether it's traditional physical bullying, relationships with adults are protective across the board. And that's what the study showed. And specifically, communication with parents is really important. We think about with parents, if we're that we should be monitoring, that we should be watching what they're doing and stuff. But what actually might be more important is having kids talk to us and tell us what's going on in your life. And that relationship where they can actually tell us what's going on is the protective part.
Right. So it's interesting just thinking about our conversation a little earlier about, you know, your sons, the ability that they're feeling that they can come and talk to you about it, whether or not it's like, well, it was just you were sort of getting picked on, not such a big deal, or really this is bullying that you need to do something about. It sounds like what the findings are really is around the fact that they can communicate with their parents around these issues.
It ends up protecting them
from maybe getting into full-scale bullying.
Interesting. Very interesting. It is hard to open up those conversations with your kids, and what you find sometimes is that your kids will shut down. Yes. And so a kid who might normally be outgoing or smiley or happy suddenly isn't, and but when you ask, like, you know, is there anything you want to talk about? And that, like, let's talk about it.
And sometimes parents aren't always the ones kids go to, so it's important to have a network of people that kids can go to. So if they're not in the mood to talk to mom or dad, maybe they have a teacher that they can talk to. And
but like Kylie asked, I mean, so that makes sense, I think, to you think that makes sense on a kid who might be inclined to be bullied. Does it do anything for a kid who might be inclined to exhibit bullying behavior?
It does, and we found a pattern that...
That's surprising, I think.
So whether they are bullying other kids or being bullied, those relationships protect them from those types of involvement.
It is really fascinating, and you are holding a special in-depth discussion about it next month, because I feel like, kind of like we're kind of bouncing back and forth. There's so much to learn about this.
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of nuance, there are a lot of levels, and it's really important to be able to have a longer time to talk about all these things.
So it's called the Thursday Dialogue. It's about bullying and cyberbullying, and Dr. Doty will be there with you Thursday, July 27th at 7 p.m. at the Shepherd of Hill Church in Chaska. The cyberbullying component is what's so different from all of us parents who are like, I got pushed around a little as a kid, it made me stronger. Yeah, I got to leave school. These kids don't get to leave it. It's on their phone, it happens. So fascinating, so go check that out, end of July. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.
The investigation continues.